Tonight on News 5 Live, all a big mix-up. The so-called Sicarios 7 are released from custody as one of the individuals actually turns out to be a Mexican civil engineer. Was Ricardo Borja executed because of coming clean about fraudulent land transactions? The state of emergency comes to an end on Friday. The Minister of Home Affairs says it was successful. And in tonight's episode of the 5-Point Breakdown, Think Equal, Building Foundations for the Future. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the shark code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win. Local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Keycaulker, San Pedro, and Belize City are just a click away with Caribbean Sprinter. Avoid delays by getting your tickets and boarding passes online at sprinter.bz and welcome aboard.
How does investment services work? For example, Joe's Construction wants to expand its operations by purchasing new equipment and hiring additional staff. How can Joe's Construction get an investment loan? The answer: Investment Services appraises the loan application and focuses on two key areas: adequate collateral and repayability. Investment Services will also consider how Belizeans and the economy will benefit from this new investment through job creation and business growth. The terms and conditions for Joe's Construction loan will be based on the purpose and cash flow. After recommendation and approval, the loan is disbursed. SSB remains committed to proper management of the fund through prudent and responsible investments for the benefit of its beneficiaries, employers, and the Belizean economy. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
Let's all be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, August 23rd. I am Sabrina Daly. They were detained by the mobile interdiction team in Corozal earlier this week. But tonight, it may seem that the alleged sicarios from neighboring Mexico were actually legally in Belize to be hired for a road construction project in northern Belize. The men who carried valid Mexican travel documents were detained inside the Central Park in Corozal town. They were reportedly using a pickup truck with Belizean license plates to move around. Tonight, News 5 is in possession of a letter of approval from the Ministry of Rural Transformation for an application for a temporary employment permit for one of the detained men. That man is being recognized as a Mexican civil engineering laborer and gives him temporary employment for a period of 1 year. The letter, which is dated August 8th and signed by Labor Commissioner Risela Dominguez-Pat, goes on to say that the individual is required to report to the NERA Social Security and Income Tax offices to make arrangements required under the Belize Social Security Board Act and the Income Tax Act. The Belize Police Department has an open investigation underway, for which nothing untoward has been uncovered so far. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa told the media today that it may be an immigration matter.
These individuals were detained, and upon their detention, word quickly spread across the border, and that is when some social media news outlets released allegations that these individuals were perhaps sicarios or cartel members. We have been doing our local investigation and international investigation, liaising with our counterparts in Mexico very closely and getting information from them. And what I can say is that so far, nothing has come back to indicate that they are in fact cartel members. And so what may be transpiring, and the Commissioner of Police alluded to it in his interview, is that perhaps these men came across the country, came into the country looking for work, and there may be others who are actually engaged illegally working on job sites. And so that is kind of where the investigation is currently going. But of course, it is still open. We are still waiting for further information from Interpol in relation to these individuals, but it is now in the hands of immigration.
So it was more an immigration issue than a criminal?
Like I said, it is still open, so I don't want to conclusively rule out anything. Like I said, we are engaging hour by hour with our Mexican counterparts and Interpol. And so as of right now, 3 p.m., we haven't received any information to that effect.
Any idea as to when these men will be released?
I would think in the next day or two.
Okay.
Again, depending on what immigration comes across, I cannot say conclusively what immigration has or has not found as yet.
Yeah, because it hasn't been indicated whether they entered the country legally, right?
As far as I'm aware, they did enter legally.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's nothing yet in relation to whether the passports may be false?
We have received information, I believe, from the Mexican embassy that they are validly issued passports.
Late this evening, News 5 spoke with attorney Brian Neal, who is representing the Mexican nationals. According to Neal, the men were released from police custody earlier.
Well, I can say I can report that they have been released from police custody. It seems that there was a huge misunderstanding where these gentlemen are concerned. In fact, one of the gentlemen, Javier Martinez, actually had a work permit so that he had all right to be in Belize as a worker. The other 6 were admitted through the border with their lawful passports stamped and allowed to enter into Belize. They were in Belize for 1 hour and they were picked up by police. So they committed no violation of the law, and it seems that that was brought to light and cooler heads have prevailed. The 6 other gentlemen will be taken back to the border and denied entry, which is the right of the immigration director.
Are your clients seeking any form of redress for the entire scandal that has been made either in Belize or in the Mexican press?
I can say that the employer in Belize is very concerned because this man came to Belize as a civil engineer, went through the formal process, and I can say that he is aggrieved by his treatment. Luckily, the matter didn't go too far. He wasn't remanded at prison, and so as far as we're concerned right now, I have no instructions to proceed further with any claim against the government or the police department.
Were these individuals in good health, or what was their state when you last saw them?
They were in good health. They complained about some roughing up, but I won't go further than that. No injuries were observed. They seemed just tired and ready to go home, as far as I am concerned. The gentleman, Mr. Javier Martinez, he has been granted permission to remain in Belize, and he will attend the immigration department tomorrow to formalize his status in Belize. I'm just glad that the authorities, the Director of Immigration, the Commissioner of Police, were able to look at the situation in a more sensible way, and cooler heads have prevailed, and these men have gone home. Because we in Belize also, we go to Chetumal and Mexico and Merida, and we wouldn't want to be treated the way these men have been treated. So I'm glad that it worked out this way, and I hope that all that previous press that they got about being members of the Mexican drug cartel is now put to rest.
On Monday night, we told you about the execution of 28-year-old businessman Ricardo Borja outside of his Belize City apartment. Tonight, a leaked audio testimonial in which Borja reveals details of a sophisticated land fraud scheme may just provide some insight into why he was murdered. In his testimonial, Borja names a real estate company in southern Belize and several employees at the Lands Department. Information suggests that one of Borja's business partners was being investigated for possible fraud. That partner was reportedly trying to pin the allegation on Borja. That is until the 18th of August, when Borja provided a recorded testimony one day before he was murdered. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
He was a well-known businessman and a volunteer at the Belize Red Cross. But a leaked testimonial reveals that 28-year-old Ricardo Borja may have gotten in over his head with some bad business through his consultancy firm. On Monday, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told reporters that investigators have received information that paints Borja in a negative light.
We're getting several information that are negative towards him in terms of his involvement with different activities, but I am not going to go into details of those. And yes, it could be that it is one of those that may have led to his death. And so we are looking at every possible angle that we can pursue in respect to this matter.
In the 23-minute audio recording, Borja begins by explaining that someone he had worked with from Panama had a client that wanted to purchase land in Belize. He recommended a real estate agent in southern Belize and is heard in the recording saying that he found someone online. Borja reportedly met with that agent sometime later.
We then met at tavern, and we had a discussion about doing closings and such forth, and we said, yeah, we did it. Okay. So it started pretty much well. At the beginning, everything was in protocol. They would send us the closing agreements and everything.
But according to Borja, he soon began facing obstacles at the Lands Department while processing land documents on behalf of his partner.
So, for example, let's say we're going to go and transfer our property. That property isn't even registered. You know, that property doesn't even exist. And then there were some discrepancies in the schedules, or actually where was the actual title for that. So they was like, no, I already told my guy, just drop it to this person will pick up the transfers and they will take care of it.
The testimonial goes on to say that the business relationship between Borja and the agent was formed in 2019. As he mentioned, everything appeared to be above board at first.
But then it went on to creating, I knew that they were creating different things. I knew that they were creating passports. I never did any passports. I never created any titles. It all started through doing grants of administration of permits, right? And I could at least count 13 of them. I think, or 10 of them, you know.
Borja then detailed how the fraudulent land scheme worked and what he was tasked to do.
I was training this entire process that I'll just tell you what exactly I remember off the lines. Some of them we very well knew that they were not right, and we had to prepare reports, land title search reports, and some of them even we were asked by one of the employees who was selling a lot, and it was like, Ricardo, but you cannot put that on the thing. And I was like, I know I can't put that. I was like, don't worry, I'll figure it out. I got you, because I already knew what the drill was, you know. So it was to prepare so it was almost to like prepare something that had to do. It was actually giving a false report.
Borja further testified saying that there were a number of individuals in the Lands Department that were in on the scheme.
So Mr. in there as well, and there were other persons in there, because at one point we had this person in, and used to get $2,500 a month in salary from us, right? And she used to work inside the lands, so that's how we would get copies of inside document or system pictures, you know. And there were times that there were things that had to be paid in there. As far as I can tell, they had a proper scheme whereby they paid off, yeah, right? I know at once, well, I think we have an instruction that they gave her 7,500. I think that's what they gave her for every probate like that, so they can. Again, while I was much in depth, I wasn't in depth because I knew this was a wrong probate. But how did they got it? God knows how.
Borja explains that he has 2 daughters and does not want to be involved in any criminal proceedings. He contended that he acquired his assets before all of this occurred. He was reportedly scheduled to meet with attorneys, the real estate firm his partner worked for, and GOB's Special Crimes Unit on August 22nd.
Hit the fans, I'm going to then talk, because I'm not going to be the same idiot where I'm just going to be taken off full of, I'm just going to zing myself. I think it hasn't hit the fan. I think it hits the fan when it's out there. But I'm not sure how exactly it's out there. But I'll tell you this, you look at my assets, I don't have a lot of assets.
And when we spoke with Jacqueline Hernandez, a family friend of Borja, she said he never told them about what he was facing.
He was very open with myself and with his family. We know that he was someone who always spoke about whatever he was doing, if it was a dream, if it was a new endeavor, if it was something that was troubling him, he came to us, you know, and so far we didn't know of something that would lead to something like this.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
A state of emergency declared back in late July in response to the spiraling gun violence on the south side of Belize City expires this Friday. Since then, there have been several murders recorded in the city. Mediators, including Compal Chester Williams and Nuri Muhammad, have since met with over 30 young men who were detained in the SOE to chart a way forward. When the media caught up with Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa, he was asked about the success of the SOE.
The purpose of curtailing crime in the particular areas of concern. As I mentioned at the very start of the SOE, it was very limited. At the end of the day, I think it was some 30 or 35 individuals who were actually detained. And certainly it served to quell the violence in those particular areas of Belize City. Of course, we have crime taking place in other parts, in the West in particular. And so those are things that we are certainly concerned about. But in terms of your question and the SOE, I believe it did serve a purpose. I know Brother Nuri and Commissioner Williams had a sit-down with the factions over at the Belize Central Prison a few days ago, and I believe they may be going back again tomorrow. And we have indication from these young men of a ceasefire. Certainly, we are hopeful that that will carry over once they are released this Friday.
In recent years, we've seen a number of states of emergency declared where suspected gang members are rounded up and held in custody at the Belize Central Prison for a period of time. Oftentimes, it is done to suppress the level of street violence when it spirals out of control. But while these individuals are held in prison for crime prevention, do they also lose the right to see an attorney? Such was the case with one man who claims that he was denied the right to meet with his lawyer when he got picked up. Attorney Norman Rodriguez told News 5 today that when he went to visit one particular client, Alwin Gonzalez, at the prison facility recently, he was denied access on grounds that the SOE suspends Gonzalez's right to see his attorney.
As usual, as the attorneys would do, I went to the prison to try to see my clients. I was out of the country for a few days, right? And I asked to see Alwin Gonzalez, who is remanded under the state of emergency SI number 80 of 2023. And I saw all the other clients, and when it was time for me to see Alwin Gonzalez, I noticed that there was a delay. So I asked the officer, what's the problem? And he said that he's under the state of emergency and he's denied that right. I don't know if there is a high authority at the prison who decides these things and whom doesn't seem to understand the law.
What does the law say?
I know that the SI for the state of emergency arose out of under Section 18.1 of the Constitution of Belize. And while it takes away liberty, while it suspends the right to liberty, it does not suspend the other rights guaranteed and protected under the Constitution of Belize. In fact, under the same section, it states that the person who is detained under the state of emergency is to have private access to his attorney. So it confuses me now. Sadly, the state of emergency is about to end, I think, on Sunday, right, or Friday, whichever day it is. However, that does not stop me from exploring whether my client's rights have been breached beyond the state of emergency.
If you find out, even after the SOE is lifted or expires, that his rights have been breached, what will be the next step? Can you take that further then?
Well, you see, there is an application that we can make. The time being so short, we don't know how that will pan out. And when we make application to the court, for example, the application for a writ of habeas corpus, we are able to ask the court to grant other remedies where the rights may have been breached. And that is what we will explore. But Marian, I know that you said that you wanted to focus on Alwin Gonzalez, but I have to say this because it benefits the society. The society is of the belief that it is only this handful of young men or women who are being targeted, and maybe justifiably so in the eyes of those who created this SI. But the sad part is that if you read through that SI, you will see that it does not only suspend the rights of those people, it says that the police has certain rights to go into people's homes, to deny people even the right of association to gather. So you and I, if we should be in those areas and there's a police who wants to target me and you, we're not safe from them.
As we found out from Rodriguez, Alwin Gonzalez was one of those 35 persons who were detained and taken into custody under the state of emergency. And while Rodriguez says he was not allowed to see his client, today we asked the Minister of Home Affairs, Kareem Musa, who said detainees should still be able to see their attorneys.
The SOE prevents those persons rounded up from access to legal counsel?
No, absolutely not.
Because Norman Rodriguez, Attorney Norman Rodriguez, is saying that earlier this week he went to speak with a client, someone that was caught up in the SOE, and he was denied access, saying that he doesn't have rights to that kind
I would have to check with Mr. Murillo at the prisons, but as I understand it, they should have access.
News 5 contacted the CEO of the Kobe Foundation, Virgilio Murillo, who said that persons detained under the SOE also lose their right to see an attorney. Coming up, police minister on Andre Perez scandal. We'll have more details when we come back.
Enjoy more of your favorite social media platforms with Digi's new prepaid social media plans. Experience social connectivity like never before. Choose from 3 amazing plans starting as low as $3.50. With up to 4 times more any use data and tons of social media data in each plan, you get more value for your money. Only with Digi can you enjoy unlimited social media access with the Social Pro plan. Prepaid mobile customers, it's time to be social. Like more, chat more, and post more. Dial star 700 pounds to purchase, or purchase from your Digi wallet or visit the DigiGo app. Try Digi's new social media data plans today. Digi, our national telecom.
My fellow Belizeans.
This is Minister Andre Perez. He is referred to as the Honorable Member for Belize Rural South, but he is dishonorable. He swore to uphold the Belize Constitution, but he has defiled it. He promised to abide by the Code of Conduct for Ministers, but has behaved disgracefully. Yet he refuses to resign from the cabinet. Abner Andre Perez, not fit for the cabinet, not fit for the House.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome to the neighborhood. How are you?
I'm kind of okay. The thing is, I've been living here for the past 2 months now, and I haven't gotten the chance to transfer my telephone and transfer my cable. I have been so caught up and so busy dealing with the kids and unpacking and organizing that the time is not enough.
Really? There is one more thing that you need to add to that transfer list. Haven't you seen the ad from the Elections and Boundaries Department advising it's the transfer of electors period? July and August of each year are the only 2 months that you can do that?
Every year, July 1st to August 31st, registered persons can be transferred from one electoral division to another. The law states that after a registered person has resided in a new division for at least 2 months, the elector shall visit the Elections and Boundaries Registration Office in his or her new division and apply for a transfer. Electors are urged to provide true and accurate information, as it is an offense to give false information. Electors are encouraged to bring along their voter's identification card or any other picture identification, such as a passport, social security card, or a driver's license, along with a utility bill in the elector's name, which will assist us in the verification of your new address.
Since I'm here now and I'm in the transfer mood, I will go down to the Election and Boundaries Registration Office to apply to be transferred in my new division. And I must ensure that I have a say in who represent me in my new constituency in which I reside.
Do remember that electors are urged to give true and accurate information, for it is an offense to give false information.
Thanks for that, man.
This is a message from the Elections and Boundaries Department.
Calling all business owners in Belize. The second Belize Investment Summit 2023 is on its way on August 30th to September 1st, 2023. Join us at the Grand Caribe Belize in San Pedro for 3 days of networking, presentations, and high-level discussions with key local and international decision makers. Do you have a business plan or are trying to expand your business reach and you just need the right investor to make it happen? Then you need to attend the Belize Investment Summit 2023. Don't miss out on this chance to take your business to the next level. Register for the Belize Investment Summit today at www.investmentsummit.bz.
For the inauguration of our Belmopan Expressway drive-thru and restaurant expansion. This August 26th, come celebrate with us with the entire family at Quality Poultry Products Belmopan for a fun-filled day. We'll be having entertainment for the family, including a kids' play area with bouncy houses and a mechanical bull. Free food and drinks all day for purchases made, and a raffle on the hour every hour. You don't want to miss this huge event. Save the date, 26 August 2023. See you there!
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Allegations of sexual misconduct made against Minister of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, Andre Perez, by attorney Wendy Oxalu remain in the news tonight. On Monday, the embattled minister was granted a leave of absence from cabinet, and an investigation is being conducted by the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. The leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, has said that Minister Perez is to be criminally investigated. But according to Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa, no statement has been made to the police, and so the matter is with the AG.
I think that you, the members of the media, can certainly appreciate that as the Minister of Police, in a situation where there are possible potential criminal ramifications from either side, that's not something appropriate for me to comment on. It's very early. I don't believe anybody has filed any police statements as yet, but it's not a matter that I would want to comment on. I haven't done it in other instances that were very tempting, like Shine Barrow and Patrick Faber, and I don't engage in that. That's not very professional to do, and so this is not a situation that I should be weighing in on as the Minister of Police.
The leader of the opposition,
saying that
there's bias in the way that both different situations are handled, at least when it comes to the opposition.
I can't speak to, I can't speak to what ruling party, media and opposition party and what you in the media put out there and how you spin it. I can't speak to that. I can speak to you as the Minister of Police in terms of what I do and what I say on matters that involve politicians, for instance, Rene Montero. That's not a matter that I am going to comment on because that has to take its legal course, and obviously I cannot be picking sides and carrying out any witch hunt. That's not what the Minister of Police in any country should be doing, and certainly not a position that I should be putting myself on either side of that.
There would be an investigation, and at the end of it, the Attorney General's ministry would decide whether there's anything actionable. So they're carrying out the investigation. It's not the police department.
Well, the police department would only be engaged if either of the parties gave a statement. That is what triggers a criminal investigation. And so either party, like I said, has that liberty to give a police statement. That has not been done. As far as I'm aware, 3 o'clock today, that hasn't been done as yet. But the Attorney General, the Prime Minister, has in any event directed that the Attorney General carry out a separate investigation. So that has nothing to do with a criminal investigation.
And as it relates to that leave of absence, are you aware if it's unpaid?
I am not aware, no.
While we were with the Minister of Home Affairs, we asked for an update on the sugar industry in the north. Minister Musa is part of the Cabinet subcommittee that was created to work on resolving the issues between the miller and the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association. As we've reported, the High Court ruled that portions of the Sugar Act were unconstitutional, inclusive of ASR-BSI making payments to the Sugar Industry Control Board. Will GOB appeal the decision of the court? Minister Musa says that the ruling has not been perfected as yet, but until it is resolved, GOB will now have to fund the SICB.
Well, in that particular case, I think the Judge Justice Farnese ruled that certain provisions, I think 3 out of the 8 or something like that, were ruled unconstitutional. I don't see it as any sort of a damning ruling from the court. That matter is still being reviewed by the Attorney General with a view, of course, to consider appealing it. But that case, which was started long ago, is just one in many other cases, which is why the government asked us to intervene as a subcommittee to try to work along with the parties. And I have to say that both of the parties are still very much engaged, meaningfully engaged in the process. Both parties, as you know, can appeal because the judge did not grant all of the provisions as unconstitutional, which was the request of BSI ASR, and so both sides, of course, can appeal a decision like this. If I'm not mistaken, the order has not been perfected as yet, but that would then start the time, the clock ticking, because you would have 21 days from the order being perfected to appeal.
I've been trying to find out if the government has determined how many millions BSI has in fact paid over to SICB and its agencies.
I would not be able to say at this point. That would be a matter for the Attorney General to say.
So then Cabinet has also said that in the meantime they will ensure SICB has all the funding it requires.
Yes, of
what
course.
does that
SIB,
mean? Does
SICB.
it mean right now that as a result of the court ruling, BSI won't be passing anything on and the government has to take that on?
Yes, I believe based on the court ruling, again, dependent on whether the matter is appealed or not, because when a matter is appealed, the orders are stayed. Either party can apply for a stay of the orders and it may have to continue. But if it is that the order remains as is, obviously the government will have to find a way to finance and to fund the SICB.
The new sugar crop season commences in December of this year, and the goal is that a new collective agreement between the millers and the sugarcane farmers associations be finalized before then. Minister Karim Musa says that a meeting will soon be held with BSI.
Agreement currently exists. It expires in November, and so that is why the next few months are very critical, very crucial. And as you know, the price of sugar is doing extremely well at the moment, and that sort of has been a buffer to deal with this blow that we are experiencing. But certainly we are hopeful that we can find some resolution to this matter before November.
Taiwan's status as a permanent observer of the Central American Parliament, Parlacen, has been terminated after more than 2 decades. It was a privilege granted by the regional organization to the non-member, allowing Taiwan the ability to participate in Parlacen's activities. The six-nation parliament, including Belize, convened in Managua on August 21st, and local legislators proposed adding China as a replacement. China's growing economic influence in Latin America has increasingly sidelined Taipei. On the home front, Senate President Carolyn Trench Sandiford, a member of the Formosa Club, has expressed serious concern regarding the decision to expel Taiwan. In a statement released earlier today, the president of the Senate says, quote, Taiwan has been and will continue to be a valuable development partner. Throughout the years, through regional and bilateral cooperation projects, Taiwan has helped to promote democracy, good governance, and the overall welfare of the people of the region. Their efforts have been unparalleled in complementing our region's development, unquote. The trial involving 9 men who were allegedly found inside a boat in the Hillbank Lagoon with 2 bales of cocaine back in January 2021 kicked off today inside the Belize City Magistrates Court. The men were detained following the landing of a suspected drug plane. News of their detention made headlines at the time because among the detainees were several law enforcement officers. The aircraft had gone down in the area of Lemonal and Crooked Tree, and the individuals allegedly involved sought to flee the scene by boat via the lagoon. Apart from the 2 bales allegedly found in the men's possession, authorities discovered an additional 23 bales during that bust. All 9 men were arrested and charged with possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply and breaching curfew. But the start of today's trial came to a screeching halt after senior counsel Herbert Elrington stormed out of the courtroom, leaving his clients hanging. During the trial, the Director of Public Prosecution, Cheryl Lynn Vidal, called Sergeant Shane Pook to testify. In his testimony, Sergeant Pook explained that 3 months prior to the landing, he was on patrol in Lemonal Village when he met 3 of the detained men in an SUV. When the men were questioned, they reportedly told Pook that they were out hunting. Pook testified, saying that he followed the men's vehicle tracks, and about a quarter-mile off, he discovered an unfinished clandestine airstrip. According to Pook, he reported the finding to his superiors. Pook went on to say that the following day, he got a call from one of the men offering him $15,000 to allow them to land the plane in the area. Pook says he recorded the conversation and submitted it to his superiors. It was during his testimony that Senior Counsel Elrington stormed out of the courtroom. The matter was then adjourned until next week, Monday. We spoke with Elrington and attorney-at-law Norman Rodriguez, who is representing two of the accused outside the courtroom.
My clients were charged that they were found in a boat and that the boat having some cocaine. Fine. Since morning, we have been hearing an odyssey relating to a plane that came in and some cocaine found on a trailer that was being towed by a tractor which got stuck and which was labeled as found property. Now what has got, if they have labeled this cocaine as found property, then what has my client got to do with this? The police has already decided that that was found property.
Okay.
Nobody was there they didn't find anybody with this property. So it is totally irrelevant. I will wait and see how long it will take them to finish with this foolishness.
We have 3 counsels, 1 senior counsel and 2 other counsels on this matter representing the 9 men, and one counsel believed that the evidence that was being led at that time had nothing to do with the charges for which the men are before the court. As a result of that, he did what he has a right to do, to withdraw. And when we came back, the court was down for a few minutes. When we came back, we requested the adjournment so that we could see if we could resolve this. Because the 3 men who were left without representation at that point had a right to representation, and the chief senior magistrate rightfully allowed that opportunity, and there was no objection from Madame DBB herself.
They are scheduled to return to court on Monday. The government of Belize, through the Belize Trade and Investment Development Service, Beltrade, has partnered with the United Nations Development Program for the installation of Digital Connect centers across the country. The aim is to expand opportunities for micro, small, and medium enterprises in their successful development. The Building Resilient MSMEs Accelerating Digitization project is valued at $720,000 Belize dollars, and today the 6th center was officially inaugurated in Belize City. It is being housed at the Small Business Development Center, located on the 3rd floor of the Fulltech building on Coney Drive. It falls within Caribbean Shores, which Area Representative Carrie Musa says has the most number of small business per capita.
Today we embark on a journey to provide a space, I would say another space, where individuals from all walks of life can come together to learn, explore, and engage with the digital world. This center will serve as a hub for innovation, education, and more importantly, for community empowerment. It will offer a wide range of resources, including high-speed internet access, digital literacy, programs, technology workshops, and much more. By investing in the Digital Connect Center, we are investing in the future of our community.
It's an extremely innovative, connective concept. It allows entrepreneurs, not just from Caribbean Shores, but all across Belize City, to come and to get their business started and to get connected in a very meaningful way. And as the executive director of Beltrade said, to create digital relationships. I think that's extremely important in today's era, that we have such a portal as this one where you get the assistance that you need to get your MSME started.
These Digital Connect centers are meant to build upon the government of Belize's efforts in addressing social inequalities, joblessness, and the digital skills gap by using local-level digitalization as an enabler of economic development, social inclusion, and resilience building. This center represents a beacon of hope, a gateway to knowledge, and a platform for growth.
After the break, building foundations for the future. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
One in 3 women experience violence at the hands of their husband or partner. That's over 800 million women worldwide. These women can feel trapped, afraid. Their lives are often restricted. Those who consider leaving often fear ending up penniless or losing their children. Over time, their confidence slips away, making a life without violence seem a distant memory. The abuse can lead to injuries, as well as serious physical and mental health problems, in some cases, even death. Many women contract sexually transmitted infections or have unwanted pregnancies, and when pregnant, have a greater risk of miscarriage or of having a premature or low birth weight baby. They can experience depression, anxiety, other mental health problems, or become addicted to drugs and alcohol. It can be hard to know who to trust or where to turn. But there is a place they can go. A visit to a local clinic is often one of the few opportunities women have to go out alone. And it's important for doctors and nurses to make sure this isn't a missed opportunity. When doctors, nurses, and midwives listen with compassion, survivors are more likely to share their story. When they ask the right questions, they can uncover what is really happening and challenge cultural attitudes that say it's okay for a husband to hit his wife. They can reassure women that it's not their fault and can work with women to help them stay safe. And where necessary, connect them with other services that can provide, for example, shelter, psychological support, legal services, and financial opportunities. More women can find their way to a life without violence when changes are implemented across healthcare and other systems. Changes such as private rooms for consultations, training that enables doctors and nurses to respond better to women's needs, and raising awareness of the harmful consequences of violence for women and children and how to prevent it. Making these changes helps foster a culture where violence is unacceptable and where women have the courage to speak out. Imagine if that could happen to each and every one of those 800 million women.
Visit Benny's today to get all your household and construction needs, from tiles to paints, electrical and plumbing supplies to power tools, lights and fans to kitchen appliances and faucets, gym equipment to household items. We have what you need. We also offer store-wide promotions for you, our customers, so you can enjoy deals and discounts all year long. To get more value for your purchase, take advantage of Benny's B-Bucks, which is free money. All you have to do is shop at any Benny's location or entity. Stop in at Benny's Home Center on Regent Street, Benny's Bargain Center on Freetown Road, Benny's Superstore 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway, or Benny's Cayo 43 miles George Price Highway just outside Belmopan. Enjoy special offers, free delivery, and get rewarded with free money when you shop at Benny's today. Benny's, quality and savings.
Get ready, babe. We're going on a vacation.
Finally, where are we going?
Don't worry, babe. I have we covered.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Yes, babe. Oh, right there, see? Babe, the price me too good to be true. Me look much more better in that picture.
When life throws you a curveball, Belize Bank has your back. With our online financing, you can turn any vacation mishap into a dream getaway.
Cheers to Belize Bank for making our dream vacation a reality.
Thanks to you, babes, to turn things around.
No thanks to you, cheapo.
Ouch.
Experience the future of financing with Belize Bank Online, where you can secure funds for anything, from anywhere, at any time, all without stepping foot in a bank. Apply for a loan today and unlock a world of possibilities.
Of the House of Representatives. His name is Abner Andre Perez. He was caught exposing himself to a female and sending her pornographic texts. But he says he is the victim, even though he admits in his text to her that he needs therapy. This man is sick. He needs help. He should resign from the cabinet and get the help he needs. Abner Andre Perez. Not fit for the cabinet, not fit for the House.
On August 9th, the government of Belize, UNICEF, and Think Equal Inc. launched the Think Equal program in Belize, introducing innovative methods of teaching social and emotional learning in the early grades. But what does it mean for the effort to bring to an end discrimination and violence in Belize? Tonight's 5-point breakdown looks at Think Equal and its benefits to the education curriculum. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
Ending discrimination, as well as the cycle of violence, begins with teaching social and emotional learning to infants between 3 and 6 years old. This is the best opportunity to modify attitudes, values, and behaviors based on scientific evidence. It is also a critical aspect of early childhood development, where kids meet age-related milestones and school readiness.
The idea of changing mindset as being the only way that we really can move the world forward to a better place came from a very unusual and dark journey that I undertook in my former life, as it were, as a filmmaker. I went to India to cover a very gruesome, brutal story of a young girl, a young medical student, who was gang raped and murdered, raped on a moving bus in Delhi. It was a very infamous story and really stopped the conscience of the world.
On the night of December 16, 2012, a physiotherapy student was sexually assaulted in succession by a group of men in India. Nirbhaya, as she was known, was then murdered.
We have the best culture. In our culture, there is no place for a woman.
The brutal gang rape of a 23-year-old girl on her way home from a movie triggered an awakening that took many by surprise.
The terrible incident set off a wave of protests nationally and internationally.
And in the course of making this documentary, I sat in prison cells and I interviewed the perpetrators of this crime. And I came to understand very clearly that these men weren't the animals and the psychopaths that I was expecting to meet. They were normal, ordinary human beings who had been taught the wrong things. They had been programmed like robots to consider that certain people, certain genders, certain castes were of less value than they were.
This profound observation would eventually give rise to Think Equal, a global initiative founded by British filmmaker turned human rights activist Leslie Udwin. Through that organization, governments, policymakers, and school networks are asked to adopt social and emotional learning as part of their curriculum.
When we look along the continuum, we are just excited that for the ages of 3 to 6 years of age, we are investing in Think Equal, which is a social emotional learning program that helps our children to understand identity, to have self-esteem, to grow in the knowledge that each person is different, each person is individual, each person is special.
In Belize, where there are many races, ethnicities, and cultures, how can we teach our children math and science as compulsory subjects and not teach them how to value another human being for their similarities and differences? The Belize Education Sector Plan includes 3 priority areas.
The plan, as you know, covers key strategic areas that we want to achieve. One of those areas, for example, is transforming teaching and learning. When we look at that, we see that the Think Equal program works for us with curriculum development. It works with supporting teachers in elevating their profession and building their needs. We see that in the area of prioritizing underserved sectors, that Think Equal helps us with developing, it serves for students with special needs. It helps us with reducing vulnerability for students in different areas.
Beyond the program being inculcated into the national curriculum are the problems in our society today. For Udwin, Think Equal is necessary because it seeks to address the issues that are endemic to humanity.
The disease we're dealing with in our societies, when we look at, and this goes far beyond gender, this is about religious bigotry, it's about racism, it's about violence of all forms, it's about wars. When we contemplate how we're going to change this world, you know, the disease we're dealing with isn't the violence, that's the symptom of the disease. The disease is the mindset. The disease is the discrimination that says you are of lesser value than me. And every country in the world to some degree has these hidden discriminations. And they're passed on generationally and cyclically from parents to children.
Through a Memorandum of Understanding signed in March, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology and Think Equal, a partnership was made official to provide all children in Infant 1 and Infant 2 access to learn social and emotional skills with the use of Think Equal curriculum. This was facilitated by UNICEF.
And so for us, looking at the partnership we have with Think Equal, the 5 to 7 year olds, even if we can get them younger, is going to be crucial in how we advance our next generation of citizens. And so that's how the conversation evolved from the Transforming Education Summit last year, convened by the UN Secretary General, calling on all member states to recommit to the education agenda following the devastating impact of COVID-19, especially in the Latin America region. And that's how that conversation evolved. And we are really pleased that today, it's not just a commitment, it's not just an SDG goal, it has to be an SDG action. And so the partnership with Think Equal is part of that action that we are translating the goals into.
Admittedly, government officials were somewhat doubtful at first. However, after carefully going through the proposal, as well as the accompanying courses, it was given the stamp of approval.
When this proposal came to us, it came to us, already saying, oh, we are ready to do this. We have funding for this. And our first response was, okay, but we need to learn more. We need to figure this out. But as we went through, we walked through it, we looked at it, we realized that working with this is going to help us on so many different levels. And that's really what's brought us to this point, is that recognition, the value of the program, the fact that it matches with the goals that we have outlined in our Belize Education Sector Plan, and that we believe that it's going to help us to meet the vision and the long-term objectives of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
When we return, wind shear causes change in hurricane development conditions.
Not only do we have the most reliable ferry service between San Pedro, Keycocker, and Belize City, we also have a pretty awesome crew. Check us out at sprinter.bz.
Everything is better electric. Be more efficient with electric vehicles and transforming your home with Energy Star electric appliances and power tools. This helps to create a greener and cleaner world for the next generation. Energize your world with BEL.
My fellow Belizeans.
This is Minister Andre Perez. He is referred to as the Honorable Member for Belize Rural South, but he is dishonorable. He swore to uphold the Belize Constitution, but he has defiled it. He promised to abide by the Code of Conduct for Ministers, but has behaved disgracefully. Yet he refuses to resign from the cabinet. Abner Andre Perez, not fit for the cabinet, not fit for the House.
Bring color to life with Sherwin-Williams paint. Choose from matte, eggshell, semi-gloss, or gloss finishes for your home's interior and exterior use. Also, protect your wooden decks and furnitures with our top-of-the-line varnishes, wood stains, and wood preservatives. We also have primers, masonry, and metal coatings. Sherwin-Williams, available at Design Depot, all in one place.
At The Life Company, we understand that life can be demanding and fast-paced, so we've made it easier for you to contact us. Wherever you may be, and at your own convenience, you can now access our services through our social media platforms. RFNG Life is pleased to introduce our new LifeBot service. Request a quotation, make premium payments, speak to a customer service representative, and more from right where you are in the palm of your hands. Visit our website or Facebook page or WhatsApp us at 671-5143 to try out our new LifeBot service today. RFNG Life Insurance, The Life Company.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the short code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Of the House of Representatives. His name is Abner Andre Perez. He was caught exposing himself to a female and sending her pornographic texts. But he says he is the victim, even though he admits in his text to her that he needs therapy. This man is sick. He needs help. He should resign from the cabinet and get the help he needs. Abner Andre Perez. Not fit for the cabinet, not fit for the House.
The Ministry of Public Utilities and Energy held a national energy policy stakeholder consultation in Belize City on Monday. Present at the meeting was Chief Executive Officer Jose Urbina.
An energy policy implies legislative reform, and both play pivotal roles in shaping a sustainable future for Belize. With the ever-increasing demand of energy and the mounting concerns about climate change, it is imperative that we establish a comprehensive policy and reform existing legislations to address challenges effectively. The energy policy serves as a blueprint for a nation's approach to energy production, distribution, and consumption. It outlines strategies to ensure the energy sector, to ensure energy security, accessibility, affordability, and environmental responsibility. A well-defined energy policy can drive investment in renewable sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power, fostering a transition away from fossil fuels and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. By incentivizing research, development of clean energy technologies, a robust energy policy can drive economic growth while mitigating the impacts of climate change.
Social workers within the Ministry of Human Development are now earning salaries that are equal to their counterparts in the same field at other ministries and agencies. This comes after Cabinet approved the adjustment of their pay scales last week. Minister of Human Development Dolores Balderramos Garcia told News 5 that the salaries for the roughly 100 social workers in that ministry was an anomaly that was never addressed for well over a decade. And it caused many good social workers to leave for better paying jobs elsewhere.
Sometimes they are up at midnight. Sometimes they have to accompany police in difficult situations. Sometimes we have to deal with placement of children who are in danger, which we have some cases of that right now. Sometimes we have to deal with difficult situations of mental illness, and social workers many times go above and beyond the call of their duty. And I do want to place on record that we're proud of the social workers of the Ministry of Human Development, and I can say that all of our staff are very, very pleased, and I want to thank Cabinet colleagues that we were able to get this through.
Does pay scale 16 put them on par with the others?
Yes. Yes, we have had very good people move to the UN, United Nations programs like UNICEF and UNDP, UNFPA. So I just want to make the point again, it's a humble time for us, but also very proud, because our social workers did not deserve to have been treated in a lesser manner than social workers every place else.
And so I would imagine that the increments the increases will be on the same level as well. They will be moving at the same pace.
Absolutely. There is an agency in the Ministry of the Public Service called the Job Classification and Compensation Unit. And we are working closely with them now just to make all the adjustments so that that can be rolled out in a good way.
The country saw a weather system dumping heavy rains over most areas over the past 24 hours. It was caused by a broad area of low pressure that's crossing over the region and is expected to continue for the next day, with conditions gradually improving. Chief Meteorologist Ronald Gordon explains.
The current weather situation is that we are being affected by a broad area of low pressure. It's something sometimes we refer to as the Central American Gyre at this time of the year, a broad circulation around Central America. And that coupled with favorable conditions at the higher levels, you have winds that are supporting thunderstorms development. And that has been affecting us for the past, I would say, 24 hours or so. And we expect it to continue. However, rainfalls for tomorrow and Friday should be decreasing a bit, but we'll still get a few showers affecting the country.
Anyone who might live in flood-prone areas is advised to be alert and to contact the hydrology department for information about the possibility of flooding in your area. At the start of this hurricane season, weather experts had predicted that because the El Niño phenomenon was accompanied by very warm sea surface temperatures, that would make the hurricane season almost as active as an El Niño. And while that has been the case and storms have been forming frequently, they haven't been able to develop into anything major. Chief Meteorologist Ronald Gordon explained that a strong wind shear is what's working in the Caribbean's favor. He still warned us to be alert, since the season's most active months for our region are still before us.
Over the past few days, we had several systems developing quite, I would say, rapidly. We had 3 tropical storms developing. We had Emily, we had Gert, Franklin, and Harold. All of them only intensified to tropical storm strength. Currently, only Franklin remains. That system is currently over the Dominican Republic and moving northward. In terms of the seasonal forecast, there was a shift at around August in terms of the amount of storms we expected to develop. Initially, they were going for about normal to, I think, even below normal. However, due to the very warm waters in the Atlantic Ocean, that forecast was revised, and I think most agencies are now forecasting above normal in terms of the named storms. However, what we are seeing is that even though the Atlantic is warm, the the strong wind shear caused by El Niño is disrupting these systems and preventing them from becoming very strong hurricanes. So most of the storms that we saw form over the past few days are quite weak systems and did not last long. What you're seeing is that the warm waters are there fueling the systems to form. However, they can't sustain themselves because of the strong wind shear that is tearing them apart. And that's an El Niño factor, so that is preventing them from becoming very strong hurricanes. So you may have a lot of named storms, but it appears that most of them are quite weak and not long-lasting. Certainly, we know that September and October are the typically active months for us in this part of the region. So that definitely means that we need to be on the alert for the possibility of anything coming our way in those months.
Up next, Haziel Alanis is KTV The Remix Season 5 winner.
My fellow Belizeans,
This is Minister Andre Perez. He is referred to as the Honorable Member for Belize Rural South, but he is dishonorable. He swore to uphold the Belize Constitution, but he has defiled it. He promised to abide by the Code of Conduct for Ministers, but has behaved disgracefully. Yet he refuses to resign from the cabinet. Abner Andre Perez, not fit for the cabinet, not fit for the House.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Francis Rennell Concert Series is back and presents the Electric 80s. Join us at the Bliss Center for 2 nights of colorful performances, starting on Friday, September 1st at 8 p.m. and also Saturday, September 2nd at 8 p.m. Come out as vibrant voices whisk you away, back in time with celebrated 80s hits. Tickets are available at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts and are $25 for general admission, $40 reserved, and $50 premium. For more information on how to get your tickets, contact 600-7453. Join us for the fun. Join us for the flair. Join us on September 1st and 2nd for an electric event of 80s musical magic. Sponsored by BTV, NCC, Travelers Liquors, Puma, Full Tech Systems, and the Angelus Press Limited. Partners with BEL, Smart, Niche, and PUC.
Every year, World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5, and the Department of the Environment within the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management joins the nation of Belize and other United Nations member countries in worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment, with this year's theme being to beat plastic pollution. We have seen the effects of climate change, now exacerbated by the effects of plastic pollution, primarily from single-use plastics. The Ministry, through the auspices of the Department of the Environment, has enacted the pollution from plastics regulation in 2020, noting that single-use plastics is of high environmental concern. This regulation sought to curb the environmental impacts associated with single-use plastics and to better promote green alternatives, which resulted in the development of national standards for biodegradable products.
The government of Belize, through the Department of Environment, has been controlling and enforcing these regulations to ensure that we protect Belize from the threats of plastic pollution. In so doing, nationwide market surveillance and product sampling has been conducted, resulting in enforcement actions which includes sale prohibition and confiscation of single-use plastics and styrofoam. The detrimental environmental impacts of single-use plastics are everyone's concern. The government calls upon all businesses, industries, civil societies, NGOs, and you, the citizens of Belize, to have civic pride and to help in the fight against plastic pollution and to further contribute to the national efforts in transitioning to a circular economy. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. Happy World Environment Day.
Of the House of Representatives. His name is Abner Andre Perez. He was caught exposing himself to a female and sending her pornographic texts. But he says he is the victim, even though he admits in his text to her that he needs therapy. This man is sick. He needs help. He should resign from the cabinet and get the help he needs. Abner Andre Perez, not fit for the cabinet, not fit for the House.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Carl Gordon has dedicated the last 45 years of his life to creating wooden sculptures. On Thursday night, the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts will be opening a new sculpture exhibit featuring 15 of Gordon's masterpieces. The exhibit is called Tanglewood, and it will be open for visitors through to the 8th of September. Gordon is considered one of Belize's leading sculptors and has been named the recipient of this year's Belize at 42 George Gabb Award for Visual Art by the National Celebrations Commission. We stopped by the Bliss earlier today to speak with Gordon.
My motivation is, like I said, I love looking in the clouds, you know. The formation of the clouds when I'm outside, especially in the morning times when I go jogging, you know, I can formulate a lot of things in my mind. You know, it's vast, and I look at that as my classroom. You know, the Almighty is my teacher, and else He wouldn't really show all these things to me. I refer to that as Black struggle, because this woman that I knew, I can't remember her name, but I saw her, and she was like some sort of inspiration to me. You understand what I'm saying? She only had one leg, and the family that she had to feed was her granddaughter, children. You know, she fed them. Every day I see that lady usually pass by my area there, and with her produce on her head, the crutch under her arm because she only had one leg. And every day she goes out religiously, and she happy doing it. Sometimes she be humming, you know, singing songs while, and I said, man, she's amazing, you know. But I captivate her features, you know, I looked at her features every time she passes by. And I had the opportunity to get a piece of wood, and that was the first thing I thought about. The inspiration of that piece, man, right there is, when I thought about it, it's emancipation. Actually, the name of the piece is Emancipation from Slavery. You know, it's like freedom. When I look at it and I thought about it, I saw some of those images in the clouds. I literally saw a woman on her knees one day when I was walking. You know, I formulated that in my mind, you know, and I saw that, and man, like, I looked at it for a while, you know. I turned away to make sure that that really wasn't what I was seeing. And when I turned my eyes back on the same cloud, it's like, yeah, even more it reveals itself to me, you know.
On Tuesday night, history was made at the grand finale of Channel 5's entertainment show, KTV The Remix. Season's 5 winner Haziel Alanis from Sokot's Village out west broke barriers. He's the youngest to win the competition at age 17, but was also the first to make the audition cut via an online submission. Alanis was among the 3 finalists who walked away with cash and prizes. The Bliss was bursting with excitement as the announcement was made following an entertaining grand finale show. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
In second place is contestant number 1, Swami Flores. The KTV champion, Season 5, the remix 2023, is Haziel Alanis.
17-year-old Haziel Alanis is the grand prize winner of KTV The Remix Season 5. The Bliss was filled to capacity as the grand finale show took place on Tuesday night. The audience inside the auditorium, as well as viewers tuned in online, waited patiently for the announcement. The Secaucus resident got maximum votes and came out on top, winning the $10,000 grand prize and the bragging rights as champion.
I still can't really process the emotions. I don't know if it's real or not. But,
yeah, it's real. It's real.
But I feel excited. I feel like after all the hard work, I finally did it, and I couldn't have done it without the support from the fans, my family, my mom. Biggest supporter. The feeling of just waiting to see what was the result was definitely something terrifying, because you didn't know whether you're gonna come first or second.
Yeah.
But at the moment when I found out that I was a champion, I stayed frozen. I couldn't process what was going on. I didn't know whether to jump or whether to cry. I had no idea what to do.
All three finalists, Haziel Alanis, Swami Flores, and Tamika Gordon, spoke of the journey throughout the 8 weeks of the show. They took on different genres of music and in the end came out on top.
The journey at KTV was absolutely amazing. Very stressful in the final weeks for sure. But every single week it was something new. You got to experience something new. I mean, you got to experience like the emotions that were running through the backstage, the different contestants. Watching contestants leave, it wasn't something you liked to see, because you didn't want them to leave.
Yeah.
But I honestly gained experience and gained a lot of friends. I learned to grow as a person and as a singer.
I was walking down the street one day when I saw you. The sun was shining in my eyes.
Well, the journey was rough in the beginning, but after that, got easy.
We've always said it. It's the battle of the singers. It was the battle of the singers coming down to the semifinals and into the finals. Do you feel like, it's validation for you over the season that now you've made it to the end as a finalist?
Yes, I think so.
Give me Jesus, give me Jesus. I'll take him every hour and every day.
My journey, most of it was smooth. I'm grateful to the producers and everyone that supported me. And even when it got bumpy, I had God. So I stood and I relied on his strength. Here I am.
How was it like, I have to ask, how was it like performing with your dad?
I think that's a dream come true.
On the 4th of December and the 25th, that's Christmas time, yeah. Everybody get together now.
And so, for the first time, well-known Belizean artist Titiman Flores played at the Bliss Center. He performed one of his hit songs, Fedo, along with his daughter Swami. There were also amazing duets with KTV alums, including Marlon Vanson and Stig the Artist. Tamika and Marlon performed Be Kind, released earlier this year from Vanson's Awakening album.
Share love with each other, help all you can in a day of hard time. No need to give much, just a little of your time. Be kind.
And then Haziel performed Love You Forever with Stig the Artist, presenting the song in 2 languages and 2 genres.
Voy a amarte por siempre, siempre y para siempre, amén. Porque hemos pasado por todo. Si me caigo, respondes. Eres mi amiga, eres mi amante, amor. Yo. Y aunque
having to translate a whole song is like, it's a lot, but somehow I translated the song in like less than 30 minutes.
Wow.
I translated the whole song. We contacted Stig, and he was so down for it, and I think it gave it a new taste, a new feeling to the song. I want to keep on pursuing the career in music. I want to continue making music, showcasing my skills, my talent to the world. Not only keep it here in Belize, but take it abroad, take the country abroad, and just take Belizean music wherever we can.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.